what took place today in Nigeria, the conviction of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on a dead law, a country without law, country led by so corrupt people that they would rather monetize their people's misery than find a solution. Listen to this argument.
Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a clear example. In 2022, Nigeria's Court of Appeal struck down the charges against him and ordered his release. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has also called for his unconditional release. Yet he remains in solitary confinement, in deteriorating health, and recently had to represent himself in court. Nigeria has signaled that the law is optional and targeting Christians is fair game. Just hours ago this morning, despite the pleas and cries of the Nigerian people and many Nigerian lawmakers, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was convicted on all charges. For fiscal year 2025, the U.S. has requested nearly $8 billion for sub-Saharan Africa. But when Americans see political prisoners, judicial defiance, and the slaughter of Christians, they understandably ask as they meet their own struggles, why should our tax dollars support governments that refuse to protect their own people? Is our aid aiding a genocide? Nigeria is a nation of tremendous potential, but that potential is being choked out by violent persecution of its Christian population. No country can build a stable future where churches are burned, believers are killed, and communities live in fear.
It just seems to make all the sense in the world to me. It's like, here we are. I mean, I understand we're not going to get like ISIS to lay their arms down. That's probably more of a kinetic option there that's going to result in their arms no longer being brought up in anger against Christians. But in any event, this seems to be something that, obviously, I'm not saying it's easy, but it is something that they should be doing, they should be looking at. And while I got just a couple seconds left, I would urge the Nigerian government to take a look at pardoning Sunday Jackson, who is an individual who was fighting for his own life, defending his life against one of these Fulani militants. That Fulani militant lost his life in that struggle, and now that person, Sunday Jackson, is facing the death penalty. And where's the justice in that? Where is the justice in that? And all these Fulani militants are breaking the law. They are breaking Nigerian law. And so this Sunday Jackson disarms this person with a knife, protects his own life. He's going to prison and now faces the death penalty. And Fulani militants just roaming bands of them with AK-47s, and that's no problem. You are so right about this question of prioritization. I know I'm over time, Mr. Chairman, but I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bohr, for your leadership, and do appreciate it very much. Mr. Stutzman.
When 200 people were murdered, killed in a church. Now, I want to ask this. So one question was, did things improve? I think the answer is no on that. Here's the question. Proportionally, do we see Christians killing Muslims in Christian areas of Nigeria the way that we are seeing radicalized Islamists killing Christians in Muslim areas of Nigeria?
What I can tell you, Representative Huizenga, is that Christians are disproportionately targeted based on their population.
Exactly. And by the way, for those that you can't pick up with the microphones, there's audible yeses behind you. Again, the people that are watching who are nodding their heads. Why? Because they have lived this. Their families have lived this. I went to school with kids from Nigeria. I've got neighbors who've been missionaries there, who have family there, who have friends there, who know this is going on. Yet we've got not just the mass media, we got people within Congress denying that this is happening, or certainly de-emphasizing it. It ought to be outrageous that it is Christians, moderate Muslims, anyone being terrorized by these radicalized Islamists in Nigeria, and we've got the Tinubu government sitting back and not doing enough. And I recently just was interviewed by Nigerian television, Arise TV, and that was really their question. Is the Tinubu government doing enough? And I had to answer, no, they are not. And I do not understand how a delegation can come here to the United States and downplay and come up with all of these other excuses as to why this is allowed to happen, it should be rejected and should be called out for what it is. And I've got a couple of other questions that my time has expired that I'm going to have to go and ask for them in written responses. But one of them I need to highlight is in Benue State, there's 1.4 million people who are considered internally displaced. Understanding that the administration has supported refugee assistance in dozens of other countries since taking office, what humanitarian assistance support are you providing or plan to provide to the IDPs in Benue and Taraba states, where many of those Christian communities reside? And I'll have to take the answer in writing. And Mr. Chairman, with your indulgence, just to show the breadth of this, I want to submit for the record remarks from the chairman of the Financial Services Committee, French Hill from Arkansas, who also serves on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, the Intel Committee, and I serve as vice chair of the Committee of Financial Services. This is where many of those sanctions originate and the enforcement. And I will say this, sanctions are only as good as your willingness to enforce them. And as the chairman has pointed out, there are ways to get out of those sanctions. And that's through correct your behavior. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit the letter. Thank you. And with that, I yield back.
Clear and clear, right? I told you, it's quite an interesting conversation. They are passionately talking about Nigerians being killed by the Islamic extremists or the Islamic jihadists. But some people want to spend or use all their energy to de-emphasize it by telling us that there are other Muslims. You should be shouting like everyone else. Muslims, Christians, none of them as victims, I mean, those who become victims who are like non-religious, right? Do not deserve the kind of death that these murderous animals are unleashing on them. No. And this should be something that is passionately being discussed inside your own National Assembly, streamed live, just like the way you are seeing it. You know? So Tinubu's government is not doing enough because he intentionally decided to withhold the political will of going after these terrorists. Benue State alone have over 1.5 million internally displaced persons. Think about that. One state. Internally displaced, meaning those who probably have left the entire state or those who have relocated to other parts of the state and others who have been killed. 1.5 million people. Think about that. That's possibly the population, that's more than the population of Malta. Malta population is about 510,000 or something. Now that is like creating Malta 3 times, 3 countries. You know Malta now. And Tinubu and this regime are spending time to de-emphasize it. They sent a lady, according to them, her name is Oge Onubogu. She represents, according to them, she's a senior fellow and the director in the African Program Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS. So she went there to go and explain to these congressmen that the killings is not just Christians. The same rhetoric, the same defense, watery. What are you doing about it? That's the question. But listen to Oge.
Chairman Smith, Ranking Member Jacobs, distinguished members of the committee, I'm honored to share my views before this committee today. Just want to state that CSIS does not take policy positions, so the views represented in this testimony are my own and not those of my employer. In this testimony, I would like to reinforce the recommendations that I made before this committee in March. In addition, I would like to reflect on how this tenuous moment in U.S.-Nigeria relations provide an opportunity for both countries to work together to address the critical threats of jihadist violence and insecurity in Nigeria, and to develop a more strategic partnership. The United States and Nigeria have a complicated bilateral relationship. with shared interest in counterterrorism and economic development. But this relationship is often marked by periods of friction. Nigeria wields significant continental and regional influence, but grapples with violent extremism and internal security. Nigeria's leadership in West Africa is crucial, and its ability to address its governance and security challenges will impact not only its future, but the wider region. Nigeria's instability stems from a key shortcoming. Despite 64 years of independence, it has yet to establish a national identity grounded in basic freedoms and dignity. Currently, ethnicity, religion, and language, rather than nationality, define the identity of its diverse population. Understanding the violence in Nigeria requires looking beyond its apparent religious and ethnic motivations. For me, growing up in Jos Plateau State, I've witnessed the impacts of these ongoing conflicts on vibrant communities. In addition, coming from a family involved in Christian missionary work, I recognize the shared faith between Christian communities in Nigeria's MiddleBelt and those in the US, rooted in the history of American missionary efforts. However, a narrow narrative that reduces Nigeria's security situation to a single story and frames it solely as the persecution of Christians oversimplifies the issue. Religious and ethnic violence is driven more by governance failures and is worsened by hate speech and conspiracy theories rather than being just a singular conflict. Nigeria is facing multiple security crises due to religious extremism, banditry, criminality, resource competition, communal disputes, and separatist agitation. These issues are intertwined with history, poverty, and political contestation. The interplay between
Like I told you, it is just the same repetition, telling us that we have, our own peculiar differences, which stems from, language, tribal, land disputes. That is not what is happening in Nigeria. You understand? Communities still fight over land, of course, yeah. People still dispute over almost sundry things. Communities still kind of like, they still bickers among themselves. That's all right. But what you are facing in Nigeria, we are talking about an existential threat, proudly sponsored by the Islamic terrorists in Nigeria. Don't color it. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't tell us about where, we are different, this or that. We know that. What is a Fulani terrorist doing in Enugu? The Enugu share border with Sokotoni. What is the Fulani terrorist doing? What do you call it? In Ogbomoso. What's he doing there? Why are the people in Ekiti living under fear because of a Fulani terrorist and his car or something? That's the issue. This is not the issue of Christians who grouped themselves, right? And now they are invading Sokoto, invading Katsina, invading Kano, and all of these places, targeting people, targeting all the rural areas, communities, and all of that, shooting and killing them, shouting blood of Jesus, in the name of Jesus. That's not what we have. We have extreme Islamic jihadists who, according to what I hear, like they have the Shias, you have the Sunnis. In northern Nigeria, they don't even see themselves as one Muslim. Can you even believe that? That's a conversation for another one. Those who are supposed to be Muslims like them. Among them, where you have seen some of these communities where Muslims have been slaughtered, you get to go and see and say, oh, they are like probably non-Sunni. It is so like that. But who are those killing everybody? Who are those killing this massively? Who are those kidnapping people in this sense? They are Islamic jihadists. Whether they are Fulani terrorists, whether they are ISWAP, they are all shouting this Allahu Akbar, and whoever is in their path is going to be killed. So the point now is that the Fulani terrorists, who happen to be the second in command to this Boko Haram and the ISWAP, targeting Nigerians and targeting, let's remove religion, as some of you want to do. Who are those killing them? Who are the people killing people? Who are the terrorists there that we have been seeing? Fulani terrorists. Simple. So it is not like a Dijabus. Oh, the Ijebus are now terrorizing Nigeria. Oh, the Igbos are now terrorizing Nigeria. Oh, can you imagine? We have the Igbo army, we have the Igbo this or that. Anyway, no. Everyone is pushing back, fighting back the Fulani terrorism. And Nigeria government is gaslighting our citizens from saying that rather than go after these terrorists, your government is spending money and time to placate them. Show get any. They are killing soldiers. Your government is not angry. The army is not angry. These people are killing our soldiers. But you go and touch one soldier on the street. They'll begin to tell you why you must be mad to even think the military will not respond. But these guys are killing soldiers. But they killed the brigadier general. Eh? There is no reaction. Nothing to even show, say, hey, you killed the brigadier general. You, these guys. Today, not today. No. So tell me, how do you think you can convince me then that your government is not involved? Yeah?
I've been online since morning, waiting to see something that will give me hope. Woo! So tell me why till now everywhere just quiet like saying a chicken die. The younger me remember that back in those days, if a soldier, for I mean any soldier, even if na private, even if na army trainee, falls, community they close, states go close. Because 10,000 men go bury that soldier. You go escort him, go underground. Then we lose a brick gen. And the whole nation is quiet like nothing happened. Even military wives are quiet. You go keep quiet till it go concern you. Our government is quiet. As a country, how did we lose guard to this point where they go kill brick gen and nothing happen? When I saw that man sitting down there like a thief, I begin to ask myself, what is the point? What is really the point? That our men cannot get protection or vengeance. Call it justice. So what's the point? They didn't even fly half mast for Maiduguri again. Because if they won't do that one, that flag will never go up again. It will remain on perpetual half mast. That is the amount of people we are losing. Mr. President, as a military wife, my consolation was that all the times I had to carry my children by myself, take myself for every antenatal, birth my children without my husband, that a time will come, he ain't go do in 35 years, and I will have him back. That every birthday he has missed, every anniversary I had to do alone, every night I had to sleep alone, every mother and father work I don't do, is because one day I will get him back. He will pay his dues. That has always been my consolation. So tell me now, why is looking as if the possibility that he might serve the army till forever has killed the reality of my consolation? Because he might miss every birthday for nothing. If he just die like fowl. And yet, a bandit's life is more important than a soldier's life. If soldier discharge one bullet for bush to protect himself, una go charge him. If boys enter bush to go take revenge, una go charge them. No be. This is. A man did not just die. Men are not just dying. Generations are dying. People that depended on this man, a whole family he carried on his back, died with him. We are waiting till they finish all of us before we go say something. But that court, whenever take have blood like Maiduguri don't take, they declared state of emergency. The president declared it on the 18th of March this year. So tell me why till now they never declare for Maiduguri. Why have the military not been given the power to take Maiduguri take the bull by the horn? Don't be everything we go talk online. We know. People don't know. We they watch news, we they hear things. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that some of the people where they do this shit, they get passports. Some of us no get. So when it's up, they go run leave the country for us. But the God that does not take preference or bribe